Yes, I think it's wonderful. I think it's absolutely wonderful and so needed. And perhaps what's needed the most, and what I think this you're trying to do with this series, is to build awareness and understanding of what is a human rights defender and what are their realities, what do they go through. Because I think that if people really understood what's at stake and what human rights defenders are facing, there would be a better response, or at least that's a prerequisite in order to have a better response. So I think awareness is key, and programs like these ones enable existing human rights defenders to share that awareness. They also provide a sense of meaning, right, to human rights defenders who are exiled. As I mentioned earlier, very few. I was very fortunate to be able to continue working in the human rights field. And even then, I was still frustrated not to be able to work on my country. But I am one of the very rare people who have had that opportunity. Most human rights defenders don't get the opportunity to continue that work. And through these programs, you are providing more meaning to them and giving them a space and avenue to articulate their struggles and their needs and their expertise, which is enormous and is much, much needed. We don't consider those lived experiences as expertise, and we need to see it that way. There's a tendency to want to listen to human rights defenders' stories. There's a tendency that I really do not like in many human rights circles or NGO circles, which is to listen to someone's story. That can be very exploitative. It can feel very extractive for the human rights defender. You're listening to their story for what? Just for entertainment, or for it to inform how you better respond and support them? So it's very critical to move away from just being spectators and listening and just watching and being wowed by these incredible stories, to them fueling us to actually do the work that we need to do to support these individuals, to give them support systems and platforms to do their work, because they know their work. They are experts at it. They just need the space to do so. I think it really is. I think such programs exist. There's much more solidarity, for instance, in the journalism field. So if you are a journalist who has fled, it's still difficult, but it's still a bit easier to be able to connect with the media world, because there are technical expertise that you have, and another journalist will instantly feel connected to you and might introduce you to the media world. But when you're a human rights defender, very rarely will you meet a community of defenders in Canada. There is no structure for that. And so it's really critical to be able to build that and to give them that room. So programs like these should not be in only one university. They should be spread out across all Canadian universities. And we should be really thinking more deeply in a more sustainable manner, and being led by those very defenders. Let them lead those discussions and articulate the solutions that they need, and support them to do that. There is so much that Canada has to gain from human rights defenders being able to fully bring themselves and their expertise. Look at me. I'm here working now as the Secretary General for Amnesty International. So I am contributing fully to Canada's well-being and move towards being a more rights-based country. And so these are the types of expertise that I am certainly not unique. This is a story that many others bring, and this is the power that many of them bring. But it shouldn't be just a one-off story. We really need to be able to have a concerted and coordinated approach to this. Again, there are programs for scholars. Scholars at risk, for instance, have programs where they're immediately connected to universities. There are programs that support them. There are fellowships. But and I can tell you this because I have researched this. I looked for programs that would support me as a human rights defender in exile, and I couldn't find anything. So if there are any, please do tell me. But so far, I don't know any, and that's very unfortunate that we leave out this segment of such brave individuals who we celebrate every time we hear their stories. We celebrate their bravery, but we don't show up for them, and we don't create the structures that they need to be able to thrive and live the lives that they lead and exercise their agency. Agency is a key feminist concept, but it's one that's stripped off many human rights defenders once they're in exile. I'm not sure I have the answer to that. I'm not sure because it's very much a personal journey. It's very much a journey of self-awareness, and it's not something that you can tell someone to do. It's work that must be done. But I would say just live in this world with your eyes wide open and understanding that all these struggles are very, very much connected. So when we're seeing a human rights defender, a brave human rights defender who fled, I don't know, Guatemala, for instance, and we think that their story is not connected to us, we're doing a disservice to ourselves, because perhaps one of the reasons why this person fled is because there was a Canadian extractive industry in their country that has made it impossible for her community to survive, and that has driven her to leave, and because of the neighboring countries' situations as well, has found herself all the way here in Canada. And us failing to connect these dots is really going to impact what happens in Canada. And so we need to just develop an understanding that we are all connected, and that if we let human rights abuses occur in Pakistan, in Burundi, in Guatemala, or anywhere else in the world, this eventually catch up with us. This impacts on how we are as a society and even as individuals. The same way that the climate and the natural resources that we have so mistreated is beginning to catch up on us, and we are all feeling the impact. It's the same with human rights. So it's really about understanding that we are all connected, and that we then have no option but to care and to learn as much as we can, and understanding that this is happening right here as well. So one of the things that most surprised me is arriving in this country and finding that there were deep injustices occurring right here as well, towards Indigenous people, deep, profound, unacceptable conditions in which Indigenous people have, live. Same for Black people and many other racialized people. So let us not fool ourselves into thinking that these human rights violations occur overseas and salute the courage of these foreign defenders, when we're not saluting the courage of the defenders who are doing this work right here in Canada. The Indigenous people who are doing this work so bravely right here. And so let us be involved right here on the struggles that are close to us, and have the courage to leave our comfort zones, and to realize that our comfort zones won't be comfortable for long unless we actually take this head on and we face the realities around us. So, but to close, as Rehana, you were saying, I think the hope is the young people. I don't even think I need to give them hope. They are the hope. When I see the amount, I was part of the Black Lives Matter march right here in Ottawa. It was filled with young people. When I look around the world at who is in the streets, we're in such a rich time right now. It sort of reminds me, although I wasn't there yet, of the 60s and the movements that were happening for independence, for freedom, for civil rights. There's such an effervescence of passion and dedication and drive to see things change in young people that it just fills me with hope. And I would say, ride with it, join whatever groups are around you. We certainly welcome you very much at Amnesty. There are groups all across the country, but join community groups, be involved. This is your world. Don't let anybody else decide what it should be like for you. Get involved, do it because it counts for you. It will matter for your children, for your friends, and it will impact the life that you live forever. So, if you're not yet involved, get involved, find out what is the issue that you care most deeply about, and give yourself fully to it. This world will only rise to the beauty that it holds if we all rise to our full selves. And that looks different. What matters to you may be different than what matters to me, but what matters is that you rise and you stand up for what counts to you, and that it is for the betterment of us all, for a more just, a more equal society in which all of us are able to be ourselves. Again, so thank you for having me, and I am I'm very happy. I'm very excited about what you're doing, and I hope this gives whoever will listen a bit more fire and hope, and the knowledge that every action that you take counts. It truly does. I will close with a poem about Burundi, my beautiful home that I love. It's called Remembering Burundi. I remember you, a spark tearing the blue sky, seeds flirting with clouds, men confiding in stars, a song held warm and snug in dreamy backs, women smelling of butter, a swollen breast, the Milky Way, dew quenching the splintered feet. I remember you, a dream, netted in laterite and steel, proud men, chest bursting full, spears hose laying still on the moist ground, walking naked to the sun. Butterfly girls, scattering, flying, soaking the heavens with colors, smothered laughs, messy laughs, free laughs, laughter in thousands. I remember you, poised people, truth people, masterly people, cracked but whole people, jade fleeing beauty, a jealous, wild, bewitching beauty, the kind to burn a prophet's eyes. A tiny scoop of land that once dared defy the Reich. I remember you, before your feather words, before your paper sons, before your gaping ground, your wandering children, before your dignity in crumbs for sale on the sidewalks of famished boulevards. I remember you in the furor of my nappy hair, in the ink snaking down these trembling hands, in my precious dreams powdered with dust, in my sweats, in my screams, in my fevers, in my eyes dangling wide open from the crescent moon. I remember you, yesterday still, tomorrow of course, this morning, I don't know.
Thank you, Ketty. Thank you for your courage and sacrifice and for the hope that you bring us. Thank you both. I think for us as Canadians, the challenge is to elicit the power and potential of your ideas and actions for our own context. We're challenged by you, challenged to think with you, and to act in ways that we can in our own context. Thank you both so, so much.
Thank you very much, Ketty.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Rehana.
Thank you.